A day or so ago, 343 put out another one of their employee spotlights, which usually kind of just highlights one of their employees and talks about the things they've done. But in this one, we actually got a little snippet of Halo Infinite news, which honestly is just kind of funny that this is where we got Halo Infinite news, when admittedly it has been an extremely slow news cycle again. I don't want to harp on that too much though, so let's talk about what was actually in this employee spotlight. So in here we learned that Halo Infinite is going to have a mark system, which Andrew describes as a feature where players can mark a spot in the world that lets their teammates know vital information, like an enemy position or weapon location. So basically, Halo Infinite's getting a ping system. I've been seeing various takes on the ping system, and I basically just wanted to talk about it, so let's get into it. Before we talk about the ping system in Halo, let's kind of just talk about ping systems in gaming in general. While it was hard for me to find data on the first game that ever had a ping system, for me, the first game that really utilized it well was League of Legends, or just MOBAs in general, as you could use the ping system in those games to really communicate with your teammates quickly, whether you were ganking, or whether there was an objective you wanted to get, etc. And so for years, I always associated ping systems with games like that, maybe an RTS, maybe a MOBA, or maybe just games more along those lines. That was until a few years ago, where Apex, being the first Battle Royale, implemented a ping system that allowed you to mark enemies, loot on the ground, where you wanted to go, doors, all sorts of things, and it was a quote-unquote smart ping system, so you had a variety of different pings that you could use, but the default ping would kind of ping out different things based on what you were pinging. If you pinged a gun, it would say, Mozambique here, or if you pinged an enemy, it would say, enemy here, or if you pinged an open door, it might say, enemy team pass through here, etc. depending on what you were pinging. This was absolutely huge because it made it really easy to communicate with your squad mates that not only weren't on voice comms with you, or even just in conjunction with teammates that were on comms with you. You could ping out a gun to one of your teammates that you were in Discord with, and it was a lot easier than trying to describe to them, hey, there's a gun in this building on the second floor, why don't you come and get it? This was absolutely huge when Apex added it, and although Apex wasn't the first shooter ever to add a ping system into the genre, I feel it was really the first shooter to innovate on it beyond just maybe kind of spotting an enemy, similar to something like Battlefield had for quite some time with certain classes that could spot out enemies. But like I said, Apex's system was really all out. You could ping all sorts of things and you were able to convey a lot of information to your teammates really easily. Like I said, whether it was just randoms that you weren't in comms with, or if you were using the ping system to also communicate with people that you were on voice comms with. After we saw it in Apex, we saw a ton of other shooters start to implement it. Games like Fortnite went back and added it, we saw Warzone add it when that came out, and basically every major shooter that has come out since Apex has had some sort of ping system. And so when 343 kind of announced here in this blog that Halo Infinite was getting a ping system, all I could really think was, well, yeah, I mean, that's just almost standard in shooters these days. But I actually saw people online that are kind of hesitant to want to accept the ping system into Halo. So I kind of want to talk about the possible pros that I think a ping system could really add to Halo, but also maybe some of the cons that people are a little bit more hesitant about. So first, let's talk about the pros. If you've ever played MCC Ranked, or even Halo 5 Ranked, it is a goddamn ghost town. Nobody uses their microphones, and getting callouts from any of your teammates is pretty much useless unless you are squatted up and playing with your friends. This new ping system will kind of negate that to a certain degree. I hope Halo Infinite is a little more active on the communication front in general from the player base, but at least with a ping system, you can ping out enemies, you can ping out weapons, you can ping out just areas of the map. And so this will be really nice to be able to communicate to your teammates that, or your teammates that don't have mics can communicate with you a little bit better if you're solo queuing or something like that. And I also think it's going to be useful if you are on comms with your teammates, just like in Apex. You can ping a specific part on the map and say like, hey, push here, Billy, and Billy will know exactly what you are talking about without you having to kind of describe it perfectly. Or you could ping and say, there's a guy right there in the corner. You could ping out a weapon and say, hey, grab the snipe, it's right here. Especially if it's like a dropped weapon, like you kill an enemy and they drop a sniper. Well, now you just ping the sniper on the ground and say, hey, grab this. Instead of being like, yo, on this dead body, there's a snipe. It'll make communication like that a lot easier and a lot cleaner, and I am really excited for that. I think it's really good. However, there are some cons, and they're the kind of cons that people bring up whenever there's a ping system. So the first one is griefing. There's always going to be someone that just spams pings and annoys you, but like in any other game, you probably just can mute those people, so I don't think that's a big deal at all. Another con that might happen is in the bigger game modes like BTB with 12v12, if every player on your team is pinging things, your UI might just be an absolute mess. It might be like when you get into a car that's broken down and the dashboard just lights up with all the different error messages. That'll be your UI with all these different pings, weapon over here, enemy over here, vehicle over here, etc, etc. However, I like to believe that 343 probably has a solution to this. Maybe it's squads in BTB. So instead of just being a full 12v12, maybe you'll have a 3 or 4 person squad, and those are the only pings that you're going to see. Or maybe it'll be a proximity system. Maybe you only see pings that are a certain distance away from you. I think there's a lot of possible solutions so you aren't just getting spammed by 11 other players' pings. Another possible con that I've seen people talk about is using the ping system to maybe time weapons or tell people when weapons are up. And this one I'm a little bit more hesitant about, but it's hard to know without being able to see exactly how the ping system is going to work. If you ping a empty weapon pad, is it going to tell you when the weapon's coming up, or is it just going to say like sniper not here? Or will it possibly say sniper was picked up at X? I would imagine it wouldn't, but it possibly could, though with weapon pads making a return that might not even really matter, because they might announce out the power weapons just like they did in Halo 5. So that is the con I'm a little bit more skeptical about, but I just want to see how it works rather than worry about it too much. I think the ping system is going to be great for Halo. I think it's going to be fantastic for solo queue or playing ranked with randoms, as now you can finally get some sort of communication from people who aren't on their microphone or are in a party chat with their friends, or even maybe just people that are too shy to give callouts. I also think it's going to be great to possibly help players learn the maps. For example, in a game like Valorant, if you just ping a section on the map, you can actually see what the callout of that position of the map is. Although sometimes the developer callouts don't really match up with what the players use, but it is better than nothing. But yeah, that's basically it. That's my opinion on the ping system. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good, and I just want to see how exactly it's going to work. I really don't think there's much to worry about here, guys, but let me know in the comments if you think this is going to be bad and why you think so, or let me know if you think it's going to be good and why you think it's going to be good. As always, if you guys want to catch me live, follow me over on Twitch. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, or if you'd like, you can follow me over on Twitter or Instagram, where I post pictures or tweets and all sorts of goodies. And with that said, I'll see you all next time.